I stood in the sleek kitchen, staring at the charred remains of my passport. The acrid scent of burnt plastic stung my nose as smoke curled lazily from the marble island. The blue cover was now a blackened husk, edges crumbling to ash. Belle, my wife, sat just a few feet away, sipping her green smoothie, her perfectly manicured fingers scrolling through her phone as if nothing had just happened, as if she hadn't just set fire to my identity. She didn't even look up when she spoke, her voice dripping with that smug tone I'd come to hate. "You don't need it," she said, smirking like it was some clever joke. "Stay home and take care of the kids. That's what poor husbands do. I'm going to relax." Relax. That's what she called it. She was heading to Santorini tomorrow with Noah, her lover. She thought I didn't know. She thought I was too lost in my work to notice the late-night texts, the girls' trips, the way she started dressing up for errands. But I knew. I'd known for months. What she didn't know, what no one knew, was that I had just signed the deal of my life. My startup, the little project I'd spent 15 years building, had been sold to an international conglomerate for $2 billion, cash in my pocket, freedom in my hands. I'd kept it quiet, even from her, because I wanted to surprise her with a new life. Maybe that villa in Italy we talked about years ago, back when she still looked at me like I mattered. But now, I saw the truth. She didn't deserve the surprise. She didn't deserve me. I said nothing as she finished her smoothie and sauntered upstairs, humming like she'd won some grand victory. I waited until the house was still, the kids tucked in bed, their soft breathing filling the silence. Then I moved. I grabbed a duffel bag from the closet and packed it with clothes, my laptop, a few essentials. I went into my office, opened the safe, the one she didn't know the code to, and pulled out stacks of cash, some important documents, and a spare key fob for the car I bought last year and never told her about. I didn't need much. I wasn't running away in panic. This was calculated. This was me taking control. Before I left, I walked back into the kitchen. The ashes of my passport still lay there, a dark smear on the marble. I grabbed a pen and a notepad, scribbled a quick note. "You're right. I'll stay home. Enjoy your trip." I left it next to the ashes, knowing she'd see it in the morning. She'd think it was surrender. She'd laugh. Maybe text Noah about how pathetic I was. Let her. I locked the door behind me, got into my car, a black SUV she'd never cared to notice, and drove into the night. The city lights blurred past me as I headed downtown, my mind racing but calm. I wasn't the broken man she thought she'd left behind. I was something else now, something she'd never see coming. The penthouse I checked into was a world away from our suburban mansion. Glass walls, a view of the skyline, silence that felt like power. I dropped my bag, poured a glass of whiskey from the minibar, and sat on the leather couch, staring out at the city. My phone buzzed, probably Belle, but I didn't check it. Not yet. I needed this moment to breathe, to feel the weight of what I had just done. $2 billion, a burned passport, a wife who thought she had outsmarted me. The kids were safe with, the nanny for now. I'd figure that out tomorrow. Tonight was about me reclaiming my life. I leaned back, sipping the whiskey, letting the burn in my throat match the fire in my chest. She thought she'd trapped me, grounded me, turned me into her little stay-at-home puppet while she ran off with her lover. But she had misjudged me. I wasn't staying home. I wasn't poor. And I sure as hell wasn't done. Tomorrow she'd wake up to an empty house and a rude awakening. I'd left her something she couldn't ignore. Not just the note, but the first hint of the storm I was about to unleash. This wasn't over. It was just beginning. It looks like you've shared a very detailed and intense narrative. This story revolves around a protagonist who has meticulously planned a way to break free from an oppressive relationship and reclaim his life, financial power, and personal freedom. It also touches on themes of revenge, personal growth, and moving on from toxic connections. Would you like some help with further developing this story? Maybe refining certain sections, building the character's motivations, or exploring new directions? I walked into the lecture hall again, kids in hoodies, some barely awake, staring blankly ahead. I wasn't here to bore them, though. Leaning on the podium, I looked around. "I'm here to tell you what I wish I'd known," I said. And they perked up a bit. I talked about code, grit, how I built something from a garage. They started to listen when I mentioned the sale. $2 billion. Eyes widened. "Money's nice," I said, "but it's what you do with it that counts." I told them about the foundation. A few nodded. One raised an eyebrow and asked, "What's the catch?" "No catch," I grinned. "Just work hard and don't let anyone tell you you're small." On the drive back, I called Kai, my brother. We talked about Belle, how she was too rough for his crowd. "Hey, man," I said when he picked up. "It's been too long." He laughed, warm. "No kidding. You okay?" I told him the short version, no drama. "Damn," he said. "You're a badass now. Trip soon? You, me, the kids?" "Florence is in," I grinned. "Hell yeah." Next, I called Silas, my college best friend. Riel had called him a slacker because he didn't dress the part. "Yo," he answered, voice sleepy. "You alive?" I laughed. "More than ever. Florence, me, Kai, you." He groaned, then chuckled. "Twist my arm, I'm there." We rebuilt. Me, Kai, Silas, and the kids. No filters, no fakes. Back at the penthouse, I sat at my desk, laptop open. I'd been coding something for months, something personal, a project I called Vero. It was all about truth. I'd poured hours into it. The old coder in me had come alive again. The sun was dipping low as I finished typing the last few lines. Satisfied, I took a whiskey and stepped onto the balcony. Florence was waiting. My trip was on track. No approval needed. The kids' laughter echoed in my head, Kai's voice, Silas's grin. The foundation was rolling. Vero was alive. Belle? She was out there scrambling, but she didn't own me anymore. Money? Sure. But freedom? Purpose? That was the key. The city glowed below me. 2 billion doors open, but the real treasure was this: family, work, truth. I sipped my whiskey, the breeze cool on my face. Legacy mode wasn't about winning against her. It was about building beyond her. And I was just getting started. A year had passed since Belle burned my passport, since I turned her world upside down. Now I stood on the stage in Lisbon, unveiling Vero to a room full of coders, investors, dreamers. The screen behind me glowed with the logo, simple, bold, real. "Authenticity," I said, my voice steady. "That's what this is about. Accountability. Truth." The crowd leaned in, phones up. I wasn't nervous. This was me, raw, ready. No fake filters. Vero was a middle finger to the lies Belle thrived on, a space where people could build without posing. I walked them through it. Open source roots, encrypted chats, no algorithms pushing lies. "We've got enough filters," I said. "This strips them away." They clapped. A ripple at first, then a wave. Kai was in the front row, grinning. Silas beside him, giving a thumbs up. The kids were at home with the nanny, but I'd bring them here someday. Show them what their dad had done. After the demo, I stepped. Off the stage. Reporters swarmed, mics in my face. "2 billion from your startup? True?" one asked. "Yeah," I said. "Sold it last year." Another reporter jumped in. "Rumors say your wife betrayed you. Is that why you built this?" I paused. The question hung in the air. Belle's shadow was still there, following me. I smiled and kept it light. "She gave me clarity," I said. "That's worth more than anything." They scribbled, moved on. I didn't need to name her. Her name was already mud online. The crowd thinned and I grabbed a water. Kai slapped me on the back. Killed it, man. Mom would be proud. I grinned. Yes, she would. Silas chimed in. Drinks later. You're buying, billionaire. I laughed. Sure. Florence. Kai, Silas, the kids. No schedules, no filters. Now Lisbon was ours. A victory lap I'd earned. A woman approached. Dark hair, sharp eyes. Not a reporter, something else. Great talk, she said, her voice warm but direct. I'm Noah, artist, entrepreneur. Vero's got legs, real ones. I liked her already. No fluff, no games. Thanks, I said. What's your angle? She smiled. Building something too, smaller scale but same vibe. Truth over trash. We talked about our projects, the mess of tech these days. She didn't ask about money, didn't fish for status, just ideas, straight up. Rebuilding's hard, I said, testing her. She nodded. So am I. I grinned. Me too. We swapped numbers. Nothing forced, just a thread to pull later. She walked off, and I watched her go, feeling something shift. Not love, not yet, just possibility. Belle had been flash, control. Noah felt like fire and grit. I didn't need a partner, but I wasn't closed off either. The right side of history wasn't about being alone. It was about being real. Back. At the hotel, I sat on the balcony, Lisbon's lights sprawling below me. The conference buzzed online. Vero was trending. My name was tied to it. Visionary, they called me. Comeback king. I didn't care about the labels. The sale, the money, that was fuel, not the fire. The fire was this. The foundation thriving. Kids in coding camps because of mom's name. My own kids laughing again, asking about Italy, Kai and Silas back in my life. Vero breathing, growing. Belle, a footnote now. The divorce final. Her accounts. Dry. Her followers gone. She tried to come back months ago. Got ratioed to hell. I didn't check anymore. I thought about that night. The passport in ashes, her smirk, my quiet exit. She thought she'd won. Thought I'd stay small. But I'd burned bigger. Burned the lie she'd built around me, the cage she locked me in. 2 billion doors open, but walking out had saved me. I rebuilt, not for revenge, but for me. The kids had a dad again, not a prop. I had brothers, Kai, Silas, not her fake friends. And now maybe Noah, a spark, not a script. My phone buzzed. Theo. Launch is a hit. Investors calling. You're back, man. I typed back. Never left. Just found the right side. He sent a fist bump emoji. I leaned back. The night air cool. Lisbon glowing. A city I'd conquered. But the real win? It was quieter. Me. Whole. Belle's fire hadn't destroyed me. It had cleared the way, torched the junk I didn't need. I'd lost a wife, a house, a version of myself I'd hated. I'd gained everything else. I stood, stretching, the conference noise fading below. Vero was out there now. My mark on the world. The foundation growing. The kids were mine. Noah's number sat in my phone. A maybe, a what if. I didn't need to prove anything to Belle anymore. She lost the game she'd started. I was on the right side, not of money or fame, but of me. The man I'd always been under her noise, the one she'd never seen coming. I walked inside, the balcony door clicking shut behind me. Tomorrow I'd fly home. Kids, Kai, Silas, a life I'd built. Some fires don't end you, they start you. And I was burning bright.